Carlin, letting the body lead. What does that mean?
It's the hardest part of becoming orgasmic.
Hmm.
It's getting into the body, focusing on the sensation, and letting the mind either take a backseat or what we talk about alignment with the body. So
Hmm.
usually the mind leads, and
Yes.
that's why we're anxious and depressed because we can't stop thinking. There's too much information. Orgasm is an event in the body. So how do we get in the body?
Right, right. The mind tries to control the body. And the body has to be in control in order to experience orgasm and pleasure. So, how do we let that go? That's the big question.
And that's what we were discussing when we thought about what topic, and you came
Yes.
up with sensual enjoyment.
Yes. So I start small and throughout the day. It doesn't even have to be sexual. It's connecting somehow with our senses, even for a moment, like 15 seconds will do it. An example is I have some good smelling hand soap, just pump, dispenser, great essential oils. It's something that I really enjoy. So every time I wash my hands, I smell it. The sense of smell is really important to me in connecting. And so, like, not every time, but like at least a few times a day after I wash my hands, I just take my hands,
Mm.
close my eyes, and just inhale deeply. And just really, I'm focused. My mind isn't thinking, I'm just taking in that experience in my body. It's a sensual experience.
Now you know you're going to get all kinds of crazy hand soaps for Christmas.
Hey,
I'm going
but
to be ordering,
I'm very specific.
of course, of course. But those little moments to take a break, and I think it's hard as women because we have the routine, we
Mhm,
have so much on our plate. For me, it's the mornings are really important. I can't go
mhm,
right to a screen. I can't go right to a task. What
mhm.
I like to do is either take the dogs for a walk or go in my backyard and just put my bare feet in the grass.
Yes,
And
yes.
they talk about grounding, and then I go around and I just check on all of my shrubs and all of my trees, and I kind of say, "Oh, my hydrangeas are popping," and
Mhm.
the breeze and the sounds of birds, and that alone, nature is my
Yes,
grounding. And
yes.
I find nature very stimulating sexually. So that little moment sets me up for the rest of the day. And then I do my vulva massage in the shower. I soap up my hands, I squat, I touch
Mhm.
every part. I'm not thinking any thoughts.
Right. That's exactly it. It's that mindfulness in the moment. And you're going to have to find something for you. Maybe it's that first sip of coffee in the morning. Maybe it's brushing your hair.
Mm.
Maybe, it's just something like with touch that like piques your senses, either visually, auditorially, tasting, feeling on your skin, but just being in that moment and being mindful.
Before a self pleasure session, my new thing is I
Mhm.
open up the drapes in my bedroom and no one can see me.
Mhm.
And I open the window and I love to lay in my robe and the robe is open and the sun's on my skin.
Yes, yes.
Because I always have sunscreen on and a hat, but it's just like a few moments where you just feel that warmth on your skin. And
Mhm.
then before you know it, I start rubbing my skin. And then
Mhm.
before you know it, I grab my oil and I get into my vulva massage. And it's like starting gently in the beginning where there's no goal, where I
Yeah.
might fail. And
Mhm.
I just do these little things that feel nice in my body. That helps me get to that orgasm.
Mhm. It's a practice. It's a regular practice of just connecting with your body through your senses. Um, so, Carlin, what happens though, like if you're masturbating and going for orgasm and your head starts trying to take over? Oh, you're taking too long. That's not right. When am I going to orgasm? What do you do then?
It's very simple, right? So you can do the whole distract the mind, have a fantasy, but I find that it's like at 5 minutes in.
Mhm.
So I'm not really feeling anything. It feels pleasant, but
Mhm.
I'm just in front of it building. And that's when
Mhm.
my mind will always jump in and be like, hey, you didn't get this out of the dryer. Or what about mailing this or something stupid?
Right.
And what I simply do is keep going. I
Yes.
breathe. I try to think about what I'm feeling in my body.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like what we do. You kind of ignore it.
Right,
And
right.
you keep, because there will be a moment if you go for
Mhm,
another 5 minutes
mhm,
where the body takes over. I see it with clients all the time. Their eyes open, they're talking, let's go within, let's release some sound. And I'm just there as a guide to go, hey, go back.
mhm.
And without fail, 10, 12 minutes in, I see the body pumping. And
Yes.
they're right in front of that orgasm.
Yes, yes, yes. So breath is very connecting, focusing on the sensation in your body, just kind of like telling your mind, "Nope, I'm not listening to you right now. This is what I'm doing." Um, and what about aligning the mind with your body? How do we do that?
Well, that's why having dirty thoughts is so helpful.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a lot of erotica. You have to sample it and see what inspires you. You can have horrible thoughts, and that's
Mhm.
good as long as we use it for inspiration and we don't have to act it out. It's no judgment there.
Right.
You can have thoughts outside of your orientation, but coming up with something that
Mhm.
inspires you, imagining someone's watching you, imagining an inappropriate partner, reading erotica, really
Yes.
figuring out who you are and how you're wired sexually is really
Mhm.
empowering.
Yes, it truly is. And so then you can have a little fantasy going on in your mind. And a fantasy doesn't have to be a complete story. It's not a romance novel.
No.
I mean, it's even just like a picture, it's a thought in your mind. And I always say one way to start out easily is to think of a sexual experience that you've had in your past. I mean, I call it past lovers in my imagination.
They're still with us.
Right? Right? Or maybe something that you would like to do and have never done. That can be a good thought that you have running through your head. And I love too, there is no such thing as a bad sexual thought.
Absolutely not. So the whole point is to create more sensual enjoyment in your life, and that will lead you to more pleasure.